board meeting. This is the regular meeting of the governing board. So calling the meeting to order, welcome everybody and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Annie, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I say it?
Yeah. Okay, and before we move on with adopting the agenda, we need to remove, please, number 5 and number 9. So we'd entertain a motion, please, to adopt the agenda with those removal of those two items.
remove what is it, number 5?
Number 5 is a public hearing, and number 9, business and finance.
We,
Actually tabled until June.
Table.
right, the Auditor General, normally there's a deadline of May 15th to revise the budget, the current year budget. They've actually extended that to June 15th, so we can do this at the next board meeting. And that's to allow us to do some things with grants and stuff that are new because of the coronavirus outbreak. So we're just asking, we're gonna do this, but it's just gonna be a month from now.
Right.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda in table number 5 and number 9 until June.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, item 6, discussion and information, superintendent report. Mr. Scholl, please.
You should have a superintendent report at your seat. Want to first give some kudos to Kevin Hicks, who's one of our agriculture teachers. He was named the Black Canyon District Arizona Agriculture Teacher Association Teacher of the Year, the AATA Teacher of the Year for the Black Canyon District, and he's now in the running for the State Agriculture Teacher of the Year. And I learned today that he's actually up against Mr. Casey Farnsworth, who used to be one of our ag teachers and is a graduate of Chino Valley High School. So we have a former ag teacher that's competing against a current ag teacher for the Ag Teacher of the Year. So we're kind of excited. If either wins, I think Chino Valley is a winner both ways. So we're excited about that.
Where is Mr. Farnsworth now?
Casa Grande, I believe.
Yeah, Casa Grande.
Yeah. So he's an excellent. It's going to be a tough haul. Mr. Farnsworth is an excellent ag teacher. So again, if either wins, Chino Valley is a winner. Food service update. I learned we had a district leadership team meeting this morning, and Mr. Ben Montgomery, who's the Sodexo general manager, kind of updated how April was. We were, if you compare April of 19 versus April of 20, we did more than 2,000 more breakfasts this year, and over 10,000 more lunches this year. So we are doing 10 to 15% more breakfasts than we normally do, and close to, I think it was 40 to 50% more lunches than we normally do. Part of that is we are serving 7 days a week instead of 4, so that's accounting for part of that. And I think there's a need out there, and that we are addressing by having those free lunches for everybody. Again, it's all students, 0 to 18, no matter where they go to school, no matter what their age is, that kind of thing. So I think it's really good stuff. And we're down to 2 days a week serving. So we do 3 days of meals on Monday and 4 days on Wednesday. So, and a day's meal is a breakfast and a lunch. So they can get 14 meals a week by coming 2 days a week to Territorial, or we have 4 bus routes that go out to various parts of the district and will deliver food to the kids. One thing that that's happening tomorrow is we received, how many pairs of socks did we receive? A couple thousand or something?
Actually over 3,000.
Yeah. And I love these socks, Bombas, if you know Bombas socks. If you buy a pair of Bombas socks, they donate a pair of Bombas socks. They are really good socks. So we've received about 3,000 pairs of Bombas socks. And so kids that get meals tomorrow will also get a pair of Bombas socks with the meal. So we're excited about that. Again, no cost to us. And we're expecting to get more socks from Bombas. So that's kind of neat. So That is going out on Facebook, I think, at 5:30, so that notice, and I learned about it today. So, fantastic. Food service is working out great. We haven't had any supply interruptions yet. I know there's concerns about some protein issues coming up, and so we haven't had that yet, but it could happen next month. We are applying for the Seamless Summer Program. We don't know if things are gonna change or not starting June 2nd. That's when we would get into our regular summer program. I think it kinda depends what happens between now and then also. We'd love to keep things as is. Normally, we're open only Monday through Friday, and kids actually have to come to Territorial to get food. So we'd love to be able to distribute like we are now, multiple meals on the days, and be able to use the bus route. So we're gonna try to do that if we can. Questions about food service?
No, but excellent. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sodexo's doing a great job with this, and we're really excited about the number of kids that we're reaching. Hiring. If there's any positives that are coming out of this crisis, it's the fact that we're keeping teachers. I think that with the uncertainty, people don't necessarily want to move. We may have about half the number of new teachers that we normally have. Right now, we're looking for 3 special ed teachers, a 3rd grade teacher, a high school English teacher, and a high school counselor. And, so that this time of year, we probably have 2 to 3 times that number of staff that we're looking for. So, again, any positives? That's one. We have put a freeze on classified hiring for the 10-month. No need to hire somebody for another month, and then they get off on the summer. So we will be filling those positions beginning, we'll start hiring in July for an end of July start for the next school year. And we're looking at aides and secretarial, that kind of stuff. We are hiring bus drivers because we train over the summer for bus drivers. And we do have at least one 12-month secretarial position that we're filling, that we'll fill before then, so.
So do we know where we are with bus drivers right now?
Right now, we're good. I did sign a transfer request today. We are training we have a couple that we're training. If you've noticed, there's a banner out on the fence out here. That's worked. Chris has gotten some response from that, so that's been good. So we are good with bus drivers right now. It's hard to say if when this end of the year comes, what they're gonna do. We tend to lose a couple last minute, but that doesn't, who knows with what's happening now. I think it's different times, is all I can say. End of year activities. So high school graduation, I had mentioned that we're postponing it. Right now, we're looking at July, probably the middle of July sometime. There are dates available at Findlay Toyota Center. My concern is, hopefully we'll know what's gonna happen. Do we need to keep people 6 feet away? That kind of thing. I think there's some options. But overwhelmingly, the students wanted an in-person graduation. Any earlier than that, I think we risk cancellation due to the restrictions aren't lifted. Any later, we bump into the start of school, which is hard to have graduation and start school at the same time. And then also kids start to leave for college or things like that. So right now, we're looking at a middle of July date. We also today taped the scholarship awards. So that will be, actually, Robert taped those for us. So, and those will be posted on the 13th. We also did the Million Word Challenge results. Those will be posted on the 12th. We have a district YouTube page that will post them, and then we'll put links on the website and Facebook. So that'll come out next week. We have caps and gowns are being distributed a week from tomorrow, which is the 13th. One other thing that happened is student council voted to purchase yard signs, 150 yard signs for our graduating seniors. So they, in addition to their caps and gowns and tassels and everything else, cords, they're gonna get a 18 by 24-inch yard sign that says Chino Strong with the cougar head, and congratulations, class of 2020. We have some for sale also. We're selling them for cost, $12. And so those are available at the, or will be available at the high school office. If you guys want one, let me know and I'll make sure I get one to you.
What does it say again?
It'll say Chino, Cougar Strong with the cougar head logo, which I'm trying to see if we have one in here. I don't see one in here. But the cougar head logo, and then it will have, it says congratulations class of 2020. It has the H stake that you can put into your lawn. I know we had talked, Penny, you would like one. Let me know and I can get one for you guys.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might like one too.
Okay, just put it out out in front of your house
Super
and,
cool that they're gonna get that, that's a really great idea.
yeah, yeah.
Just a little something.
Yeah, and Tom's Print Shop is printing those up for us, so we appreciate that as well. And let's see, kind of a coronavirus update. Home instruction is continuing as it has for the past 6 weeks. We're beginning to plan for next year. Maintenance is busier than ever. They have a long list of projects. It's actually, they're taking advantage of the not having people in classrooms. So there's painting, there's some construction going on, lots of things happening. To be honest, I'm concerned about budget cuts next year. The state budget's gonna be tight. It depends on what they choose to do. I'm probably more concerned about the next year, just because if there is some language in Prop 123, which authorized some school funding, that says we may not get our inflation funding if the state doesn't reach certain growth levels. And right now, we're definitely not growing. The economy is not growing, so that may happen. And so that's concerning. It's likely that we're gonna get about $400,000 or more as part of the Federal CARES Act to help us get through the effects of the coronavirus. And that could be, if enrollment's down or our budget is cut, we could use that money to supplement. We talked today about putting hand sanitizer stations outside each classroom or inside each classroom. That could help us do that. Some deep cleaning costs, that kind of thing could all be paid for out of that money. But that could get us, for a while, but it kind of depends on how bad things get. Hopefully they won't get bad, and that's what I'm hoping. I think we need to plan for the worst and hope for the best. The other thing that's happening is things that we usually do over the summer or beginning of the school year, professional development. We're really utilizing this time to get that stuff done. And so K-5, we had a webinar on our new English Language Arts program that the principals are really excited about. That's happening. We're requiring all of our teaching staff, our teachers, to get Google Classroom certified. And what's happening now is the exact reason why we want to get these teachers certified, so that if the kids have to be at home, they can have that communication, or it's a better way to get that instruction across. We have some teachers that we're working with that maybe not as technologically savvy as we'd hope, but we're providing as much help as we can for those staff members. We think it's important that we get this program going for every single staff member or teacher. This is something that we've committed to as a district. The kids, we don't want any teachers that don't do this. That just provides learning gaps for the next year, for maybe the next teacher that is certified or whatever. So the expectation is that everyone will go through the training. We're doing CPR, first aid, restraint training. Those are annual refreshers. We have the bus drivers doing their DOT stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Some of it at home, some of it in person in small groups, but we are trying to take advantage of the time. That is my report. I'm ready for questions if you have any.
Questions? I had mentioned this to you, that I had heard that some places that are thinking of starting school early. Do you have any
information on that for our district?
No, and if anything, I think we would end up starting late. You know, if things don't improve and there's still we're not allowed to have kids in classrooms, that kind of thing, I could see us starting after Labor Day. That's not happening now, and I don't want it to happen. Plans are to start the first Wednesday of August. But, you know, it really depends on what happens. I don't see us starting any earlier. There would be no way for us to extend the school year right now. We would have no money to pay for the extra staff that we would need to do that. One of the things we were talking about today is summer school, and how would we do summer school? Should we be doing summer school? Will it allow us to do summer school? We used to have 20 kids in a classroom. Can we put 20 kids in a classroom if we have to do social distancing? Can we put 20 kids on a school bus? Those are issues that we have to deal with that hopefully will be answered. I know that Superintendent Hoffman, who's the state school superintendent, is working on what schools will have to do to open up in the fall. That plan is supposed to come out by the end of this month. So that'll provide some guidance. But I don't see us starting any earlier than that first Wednesday of August. Yeah.
And it's my understanding in Arizona, we start pretty early as it is compared to a lot of other states.
Well, even
Vaccine.
my first few years here, we didn't start until after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And then what happened was we added in some breaks, fall break. We used to have 2 weeks in the fall, 2 weeks in the spring. And then really what kind of tied us in is the formation of the JTED, now the CTED, so Mountain Institute. We are so tied in with Yavapai College that we really needed to finish the semester prior to Christmas.
Gotcha.
And so we know what our end date is, and it kind of just backs up to what our start date is, 72 school days earlier, or 90, it depends on what kind of 4 or 5 day. So that's kind of why we have the school year that we do now, the start date. But you're right, it's late. I grew up in Southern California. We didn't start till after Labor Day, and we went till the middle of June. So that was normal for us. But Arizona, I think in general, tends to start earlier than a lot of other states. Yeah.
Okay, item 6B1, the financial reports, are you presenting?
That is me also.
Okay,
So the financial report, you have a copy in front of you. Right now, our M&O budget balance is 0.85%, which is $124,000. For comparison, and I find this kind of amazing, last year we essentially had no remaining M&O. The balance is $372. So we're doing well. Some things to think about is we don't have any substitute teacher costs. We have no diesel fuel costs. And so there's some things like that. The capital right now is at 0.49%, which is $4,800. Last year it was 15% at $70,000. We were saving money to buy books, so that's why it was so high. And our adjacent ways was at 100% last year. Right now it's at let's see, 0.93%, but a lot of that has been encumbered. Some of that will be released, but the construction on the bus lane behind Del Rio, I think is currently under bid, and we're waiting on the bids for that. And so we initially had told them that they can't start till May 20th. That's probably, I don't know if they'll be able to start before May 20th, but if they can, we don't have that restriction anymore because we didn't want them working when the kids were around. So as soon as the bid's done, they can start working on that. So that's where we just that's been encumbered because of the bid. So we're doing real well. We'll have a healthier carry forward that will help us get through any issues if there are issues next year. Questions?
anybody? Okay, item 7, approval of the consent agenda. We would entertain a motion, please, to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Sounds good. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 8, personnel report.
There is a supplement, so please take a look at the supplement as well as the regular report. The combination of the two, we have 7 new certified staff, 1 new classified substitute, 4 resignations, 6 certified changes, and 4 extra duty assignments.
Okay.
So number 5, also number 8 is a resignation, but then a hire also?
Right, so that, he is currently a teacher for us. We
Right.
want to keep him as a teacher.
Yeah.
He's doing student teaching in the interim.
Gotcha.
So,
I was hoping we didn't lose him.
right, so we can't pay him while he's doing his student teaching. He's gonna do it at territorial. As soon as it's done, we hire him on contract again.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
How long is this student teaching?
the quarter basically.
Okay.
Yeah, the first quarter,
Yeah, all
Yeah.
day long, 1 quarter.
yeah. So we're excited, he's moving forward with for his final certification, and we're excited about him, because we wanna keep him.
Yeah. he's
We've
a
got
good one
plans
to
for
keep.
him.
Yeah, good.
Any more questions? This is an action item. We would appreciate a motion, please, to approve the personnel report as presented.
I'll move to, okay, the personnel report as presented.
Okay. Other
And
questions?
supplement.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
and
sorry, that's
supplement.
right, yes. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, item 10, first reading of the governance and policy advisory updates.
So this is something, this is not from most of our updates come from the Arizona School Boards Association. This is something that we've been working on, that's just unique to us. Our policy, well, because of state law, our policy was changed saying that classified substitutes, and this only applies to classified subs, because we don't hire substitute teachers, they're hired through a third-party company. Our classified subs, which would be substitute bus drivers and substitute aides, and we have a few substitute secretaries. They get leave, they accrue leave just like our regular employees do. They get 1 hour of leave for every 20 hours that they work. How a substitute is supposed to use leave, I really don't know. The only thing that I can think about is if we have them on like a long-term assignment and they get sick during that assignment, they could use the leave, that kind of thing. The other thing is when they quit, they get paid out their leave just like regular employees do. Kind of bugged me a little bit. So what I proposed, and I took this to SEAC, the Superintendent Employee Advisory Council, and they have vetted this and looked at it and kind of agreed that maybe this change is okay. And again, this change only applies to substitutes, those that are not regular employees. That we would pay them what the state says is the minimum that we have to do, which is 1 hour for every 30 hours worked for accrued leave. And there's nothing that says that we have to pay out leave. And so if a substitute stayed a substitute then quit the district, they wouldn't get paid out their leave. Okay? Now if that substitute bus driver, say, and I'm going to use this bus driver because this tends to happen mostly with bus drivers, we hire substitute bus drivers to eventually become regular bus drivers. If that substitute bus driver accrued leave became a regular bus driver, that leave would go with them. And they would earn that leave, or they would keep that leave, be able to use it just like normal. If they were a regular bus driver and later resigned, gave us the 2 weeks and everything else, that leave that they would have earned would get paid out just like a regular employee. We want substitutes that are good employees to become regular employees for us, and we want to reward that. But at the same time, if someone just wants to work for us on their terms, which is fine, and we need those people, it bothers me to have to pay out their leave. So the changes would be the amount of accrual would be 1 hour of leave for every 30 hours worked instead of 1 hour for every 20, which is what regular employees get. And they would not be paid out their leave if they leave the district. If they, again, became a regular employee, they would be able to get paid out that leave. That would just follow them, and that leave would be grandfathered to. Those are the only changes, and they would be effective July 1st. So anyone that had our current substitutes, if they chose not to come back, they would get paid out like they have been in the past. This is a first reading, so it's not
Oh,
something to
okay.
vote on. It would have to come back in June.
We can have questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. So, item 11, A through C, well, actually, we have to adjourn to go into
Correct.
executive session, so,
Need to make a motion.
sure, go ahead.
No,
Don't need to, but
yeah.
we're adjourning. Thank you.
That was easy.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Robert, for